Hello students, as today in this video lecture we will study about what is primary data and what is secondary data. As we have studied the primary sources of data and secondary sources of data, so here we will see what is the difference between the primary data and secondary data. So let's start. Here all seen that the key terms, what is investigators, what is respondents, enumerators, what is population, these all key terms we have already seen. And we have also seen sources of data in that what we have seen internal sources and external sources. Internal sources, that means the data which is already available with the company, which is internal data like profits, dividends, etc. And external data that can be collected from primary sources and secondary sources. Now, what is primary data? And what are surveys that we have also studied? A brief introduction about the census and the sample was also given. But here, first, we will see out the difference between the primary sources of data, primary data, and the secondary data. So, here we can see that primary data is a experience. So primary data here is the first hand experience. In this, the information that is gathered, it is for the purpose of particular research. Here in secondary data, it is collected for another purpose. It is not collected by the researcher himself. That means in primary data, that is collected by the investigator for his own purpose for the first time. From beginning to end are called primary data. And this is based as a first hand information. These data are collected from the primary source of origin. Okay, suppose for example, if I want to take the collect the marks of the students, then I will go and ask from the individual students of the marks. So that is what? That is a method of primary, that is I am collecting primary data. And what are the main sources? Through interview method or through survey, through by giving you the questionnaire, I can ask you about yourself. That is what? Collect the information about yourself. So that will be what? The sources which through which we are collecting the primary data. Or we can also give the example, suppose you want to know about the popular ice cream flavors among the kids in your locality. So what you will do, you will inquire about the large number of children by asking the questions on their choices of ice cream flavor for them to collect the desired information. That is directly when it is asked by the investigator and collecting the data, the investigator himself is collecting the data. That is called primary data. Secondary data means those data which are already in existence and we have been collected for some other purpose than answering the question in hand. Suppose you are not directly asking the question, it is the data that is already collected. For example, if I have to get the marks, I will only see your report card and see the marks. I will not ask you. So this is what secondary sources. And these data can be obtained by published sources such as government reports, documents, newspapers, etc. So thus the data are primary to the source that collects and processes for them for the first time, and the secondary for all sources that use such data later. So use of secondary data saves time and cost. What's the point? So here we will see according to the points that we have seen the sources also and the meaning. Next, the data time, the real time data are the primary data are the real time data. Then in the current scenario you are collecting the data and the secondary data are already being collected. Okay. Next, specific to the researcher need. Here, researcher in primary data during collecting the primary data, the purpose is very much specified. But in secondary data, whatever the data, the purpose was for the collecting of that during the first time, that should not be, the objective should not be the same. It doesn't happen that you are very specific to find out the particular data as a secondary data. Okay, so cost, yeah, when we see on the basis the difference between on the basis of cost, that it is expensive. The primary data collection is expensive method and time taking also. And the secondary data is low cost. You will just open this website or the newspaper and write down the data or collect the data. Okay, next, that level of control over the data quality. That means the accuracy and the reliability of the data is high in primary data collection because you are collecting it on your own, and lack of control is there, or lack of reliability and accuracy is there when we are using the secondary data. And it is also, primary data is time consuming and secondary data is less time consuming. Here the example is given that making list of marks by integrating the students, and here in secondary data collect the marks of the students from their report card. Next, here we will see the methods of collection of data. What are the modes of collection the data of primary data? So here we can collect the primary data by direct personal investigation and direct personal investigation also. Or we can see the personal interview. There are two methods: direct personal interview and indirect oral investigation or indirect personal interview. So in the direct personal investigation, the direct personal investigation method is in which the data are personally collected by the investigator from the informants, or we can say that in the direct contact with the people from whom the information is to be collected. So success of this method depends upon the impartiality and tolerance of the investigator, how much he can tolerate the responses of the particular evidences. So for example, if we are going to interview about the income of the particular person, so here directly we will go and ask the person to person about their income, find out the average income of a particular area. And it is suitable, generally direct personal investigation or interviews are suitable for where the area is very limited and we need a high degree of accuracy, where we can be easily direct contact with the informants, and it is very, for example, the PTM is what, a direct personal interview. When I am collecting the data from my parents, that is what, when I'm writing or collecting the information from your parents directly, and it is very necessary to, without asking, you cannot write from the third person. I cannot ask about you or about your parents. Okay, so here the secrecy, and when we have to keep the things in a secret form, the data has to be kept in a secret form. Then also we use the direct personal interview. So So here we want the data to be original. So that's why what are the merits, we can see that it is accurate, original and reliable, and also uniform because only one person is going to collect. So that is the reason that it is uniform in the nature also. And it is elastic also. That means flexible also. That the investigator can change itself the particular area and the informants, the size of the informant. So it is flexible. But the problem is that this method cannot be used for the vast areas. It is very costly and the personal biasness can be there. Okay. So because it makes a question mark on that. Suppose if I want that my result of my research should be positive. Okay. So, if I want that my result to be positive, so I will take only positive things in my research or in my investigation. I will ask those type of questions which you will give the positive answers to me. Okay. Next is indirect personal interview or indirect oral investigation. So this means by which information is obtained orally from the people who are expected to possess the necessary information and not from the person regarding from whom the information is needed. Suppose, as I have given the example in the class also, that if I want to ask about the class, that how's the class is going, how what you people are doing in the free period, so I will just call the monitor or the prefect of the class and just ask him or her about the situation of the class. So that is what, because I think that he is possessing the more information about the class than me, okay, about the students than me. So this information, yeah, this method is very useful for the large area. As we have seen, direct personal interview is not very useful for the large areas, but this indirect personal interview, here we can inquire the large field. Okay, and direct contact with the concerned informants cannot be established. We do not have to make a direct contact with every person. Only the representative of the group can explain it. As I have given the example also that eyewitness of the murder case is what? The indirect personal interview. So, and what are the minutes also here? Because it covers wide area and it is cost effective and simple. So, and now what are the demerits? Here, accuracy can hamper. And the personal biasness can also be there if the monitor gives the wrong information about the particular child. So that's why I have to rely on that. So if there is a personal grudge between the two monitor and the classmate of his classmate, so that's why he will tell if the negative thing about him. So that will create a problem. So here the personal biasness is there, can be happen, and we cannot rely on the data fully on that, or reliable data cannot be obtained. Here we can see the advantages and disadvantages of personal interview. Whatever the interviews we take, whether it is direct or indirect. So here we can see the advantages. There is a high degree of originality, and information is reliable and easy to administer, because we have to manage only some of the persons or representative, or we are directly in the contact. And it is elastic method because we can set our questions on our own. We can set our size of the people on our own. Understood? What are the disadvantages? Very costly. You have to go each of them and ask the particular answers, get the responses, and there can be high degree of personal biasness also. So it requires that the investigator is skilled and trained. If the investigator is not skilled and trained, he cannot ask the questions properly. So the statistical inquiry cannot be successful. Next is telephone and interviews. Before this, going on this, first I will discuss one of the, you can write also, one of more that primary data collection. Write it second, that information from local sources or correspondents. In this method, what happened? That the correspondents or the local persons are appointed in different parts of the areas, so that they can collect the information by their own way and present it in a to the investigator. So these correspondents are trained to collect the information from the respondents. They are being trained properly how to ask the question, which type of question should ask first, which type of question should ask last. So that is so that the responses can be recorded properly. As this method is utilized in newspapers and media persons, news channels, these use they what they do, they appoint reporters in various local areas, and these reporters gives them the information about that strike, theft, accidents, etc. So here it is also adopted somewhere by the government departments also to estimate the particular the rural area about them. So they just appoint a particular like video and all that, is that or what? They are acting as like a local correspondents of government, as a representative of the government, and this is the best thing because here we can cover the large area, and there is high degree of accuracy cannot be needed over there. Okay, so regular and continuous data are required because we will get the data regularly and continuously, because in each of the area we will just appoint one of the local persons who will give me the information. Okay, suppose for example I just appointed one of you, those who are living in Bakshipur, I appointed one of them there, one in Taramandal, one in Golghar, as according you are living there. So you will collect the information about that area and just give it to me. Okay, what is going on in that particular area? So that is what I have appointed the local correspondents. As what are the demerits here? We can see there will be lack of accuracy. I am not going to see on the particular area. Whatever my appointed colors correspondents are or local persons are telling to me, I am just relying on that. And maybe it cannot be original also, and it can be biased. That means the data collected by the local person may suffer from personal bias and may not be reliable. That means they will not give anything negative about them. They will all want to give them a positive information. And as collection of data by this method involves a lot of time to collect from the correspondence also. That means you have to go with each and every local persons to collect the information. Again, then you will collect all the information and analyze it. And the next is, that is telephone interviews. So what is telephone? Simple, you can understand with the words. Investigator asks questions over the telephone, and telephonic interview can be conducted in a shorter time. So this method allows the investigator to assist respondent by clarifying the question. अब इसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या है इसमें कि भाई आपको चेहरा तो दिखाई नहीं दे रहा, you're not seeing the face, whether he is or the to whom you are talking is a true person or not, whether he is telling lie or not, whether he's telling the true picture of true responses he's giving or not. So that we cannot find. That is a biggest drawback over here. So here we can see that where this type of telephone interview can be suitable. So here we can see that it is a like of personal interview only, but it is conducted on the telephone. And when the investigation is to be conducted in a shorter duration, you want to conduct all information in a less duration, then also we will use telephones and respondent own telephone connections. Okay, so we will find out the particular telephone connections. On the respondent's telephone connection, we will connect that and communicate with them to find the information. Okay, and now what are the merits of that? That advantages, you can see cheaper and it takes shorter time and higher response rate. As you call on mobile, each and everybody will respond to you, whether yes or no, but whatever response you will get, surely you will get the response on that particular directly, because directly on the phone you are contacting the person. Next, it is helpful with the respondents as reluctant to answer them. Sometimes when you go and meet any people, क्या बोल देते हैं भाई, बाहर से ही बोल देते हैं नहीं है नहीं पापा, या पापा कह रहे हैं कि पापा नहीं, समझ रहे हो? सो दैट इज व्हाट कि भाई पापा कह रहे हैं पापा नहीं है, सो यहाँ ही इज रिलक्टेंट टू गिव द आंसर. एंड व्हेन यू आर कॉलिंग from your number, he is not saved your number, so when he is calling, then you obviously he will answer on that. Now, what are the demerits? That is obstruct visual reactions. We cannot see the visual, whether they are telling lie or true, or from the faces only we can find out that whether the person is telling right or wrong. So, because of obstruct visual reactions of the respondents, which is required to obtaining information or any sensitive issues on that. So, limited use of, that means if the respondent do not own telephones, the method is unsuccessful. Sure, if the person is not having the smartphone, can he attend the online classes? No. So that's why, like that, here also, if the person is not using the phone, then that means he's not able to answer, and we are not able to contact him. And biasness. If the investigator is biased, there is, भाई उन्हीं लोगों को फोन कर करके पूछा जिसकी जिनके मार्क्स अच्छे थे. Okay, what the point? To give the result, a highest result. Okay, so that will be there. Next, that we will see one more, that will be mailing method. Okay, which is called mailing method, or which comes under the information through filling questionnaires. One more area is there, that is mailing method. In mailing the questionnaire, it simply means the required data is collected by mail. That means they are sending the questionnaire. What is questionnaire? A questionnaire is a set of questions which is used to get the responses of the respondents, okay, on which we can collect the information. So here, mailing method, what do we do? A questionnaire is prepared according to the objective of the study, what we want to know about the informants, and with the request to answer and return them within a specific time period. And assurance is given by that the answers will be confidential, and such questionnaires generally have a prepaid postage stamp. Through mail means today to we only send it on mail ID. Once we get the email ID, we send it, and the person who is getting it, he will just fill the form. Okay, like Google form you have given the exam, so in that also you will just fill it up and send it to the particular investigator. So suppose like mailing a questionnaire to government employees, for example, in area to find out the feedback about their working conditions, or we can just so mailing questionnaire in today's scenario is not with a postal mail we are talking about. We are talking about the email ID. Okay. So what will be the merits? Here we can cover the wide area. And the original data is first hand data. And informants are literate. See, this advantage is that informants are, or suitability, we can say that informants are literate and educated. This is also one of the drawbacks. If the informants are illiterate, then you cannot use these methods. Okay, so it is economical also. Sitting one place, you are just sending the mail and covering the wide area with and get the original and reliable information, and which will be free from biasness. You are not going to ask such questions, or face-to-face interaction could not be there so that you can modulate the answers of the respondents. But the simple thing, the advantage is that lack of interest. Some of the questions which they are not even not understanding, they will not answer, and some of them just ignore what is being there. ईमेल आईडी में होता है ना, कभी कभी सर्वे पे आ गया तो हम क्या करते हैं, उसे डिलीट कर देते हैं, नहीं देखते हैं, बिकॉज कौन इतना लंबा फॉर्म भरेगा, दैट वी थिंक. सो एक्यूरेसी विल आल्सो लैक. सपोज मेरा मन नहीं भाई भाई वी जस्ट आई एम गोइंग टू, जस्ट मैंने ऐसे ही बेमन से फॉर्म भर दिया, ठीक है, मेरा बहुत ऐसा मन नहीं था, और अगर तुम सामने से लेके आके पूछ रहे हो तो मैं आई विल नॉट टेल lie, so I have to speak true. Okay, truth. So that's why. And it is inflexible. Once you have sent the questionnaire, you cannot change anything in that. Okay, but in face to face interaction you can ask some more questions also, but in this method we cannot ask the more questions over there. And one more method is there, that is enumerators method. Enumerators method. So what is this method? That means in this method a questionnaire is prepared according to the objective of the study and is taken to the informants by trained enumerators. Actually, the enumerators are being given the training of asking the questions, collecting the information. These type of information is the enumerators method is utilized to where the people are illiterate, they cannot understand the questions or they cannot read the questions. That place we use this enumerators method. So in enumerators himself, you know now what is who is enumerator? Enumerator who, what he do? The enumerator is a person who is appointed by the investigator, and on the behalf of investigator he collects the information. So the enumerator himself approaches the informants with the questionnaire and asks them questions which are called schedules. That means the same questionnaire is called schedule when it is filled up by the enumerators by asking to the respondents कि भाई मेरे पास एक फॉर्म है, मैंने तुम्हें फॉर्म दे दिया, तो जस्ट यू फिल्ड एंड गिव इट टू मी. तो भाई ये हो गया पर्सनल इंटरव्यू टाइप्स. लेकिन जब मैंने फॉर्म लिया और मैं खुद भरी, मैंने तुमसे पूछा व्हाट इज योर नेम, व्हाट इज योर फादर्स नेम, एंड आई एम फिलिंग इट, then that questionnaire will become the schedule. Okay, scheduled. So enumerators fills the questionnaire himself after seeking the information. That is called schedule. So enumerators persons who help the investigator, that we know in collecting the data, and they have given been a trained persons. Okay, which are so that they can ask or forward the question intelligently to the to get the accurate data. Okay, for example, for the purpose of investigation to find out percentage change in monthly expenditure of employees of a factory who might need help to understand and supply right information to the investigator. So this method is suitable for large area. So in this skill, but here we need the skilled investigators and trained enumerators who can ask the particular question. And if the informants are not very educated, then also we can utilize this method. As in mailing method, only to them we can mail the questionnaire where they can start they are where they are literate persons. Where they are illiterate person, we cannot send this mailing method, then we will use enumerators method. And here in enumerators method, one more that thing happened with that questionnaires cannot be, the respondents cannot be reluctant or resistance about the answering the questions. There they have to answer the question because face to face the enumerators are asking it. Now what is the suitability of that particular enumerators method? That area under investigation is large and study the skilled investigators and informants are educated enough. Okay, where the informants are not even educated, there we can use the enumerators method. Now what are the merits regarding that? that we can cover a wide area, and it can be accurate and reliable, and a personal contact can be established from the consumers or the informants, and we can get the complete information about what we want to possess through the statistical inquiry. But some of the demerits are also there. That means costly, time consuming, and unsuitable for small investigation. That is, in this method, we involve a lot of cost. So it is unsuitable for small private sector investigation. So it is mostly used by the government departments and some well of private institutions. अच्छा, इससे एक याद आई बात मुझे, इन्यूमरेटर्स मेथड से जब अगर आप किसी स्कैम में फंस जाते हो तो सीबीआई वाले क्या करते हैं, व्हाट दे डू, दे जस्ट आस्क यू द क्वेश्चन, एंड देन द सेट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस इज बीइंग प्रिपेयर्ड एंड दे जस्ट गो एंड रिकॉर्ड. ठीक है, वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग ही करें चाहे कैसे भी रिकॉर्ड करें, योर रिस्पॉन्सेस इज बीइंग recorded. One more survey we can see here, that is internet survey, that we know that through email or YouTube there are several other forms where we fill it up. So here are the advantages and disadvantages of the particular methods, and we will see that what are the secondary data, important agencies of secondary data sources, why they are important. So here we can see that first is Census of India and second is National Sampling Survey Organization. So Census of India means this particular organization or agency established by the Indian department, and in this we record the demographic record of population, and it is being conducted, this survey is being conducted every 10 years. And the census official, what they do, they collect data about the literacy rate, then migration rate, employment, unemployment, number of people in the country living, and they used to interpret and analyze to understand many economical issues. भाई अगर ये पता चल जाता है इस डेटा से कि इतने परसेंट पीपल आर अनएम्प्लॉयड, और अगर ये पता चल जाता है नहीं मैक्सिमम आर एम्प्लॉयड, ओनली सम ऑफ द पीपल आर अनएम्प्लॉयड, सो according to that the plans and policies are being formulated. Next, that one more important agency is National Sample Survey Organization. Now, what is National Sample Survey Organization? So, this National Sampling Survey Organization, what they do? They simply collect the data about, as NSSOA, National Sampling Survey Organization, is a unit of Government of India, and they have made it to conduct nationwide survey on social and economic issues. Social economic issues means education sector comes under social and economic issues. Social issues, infrastructure, houses, okay, that comes under social issues. Now, economical issues related to GDP and all data is being published by the these agencies. Okay, so NSSO just carry out the annual survey of industries, agriculture surveys, then socio-economic surveys, and it also conducts the rural and urban area price level, consumption pattern, per capita income, okay, and survey of economic census. So designs and research activities, whatever designs and research activities are going on, that data is being kept with the NSSO. So this is was established in 1950 under the Ministry of Finance to conduct the survey and collect the estimates about literacy, school enrollments, through school dropouts, the public distribution system, etc. To publish the surveys about report, and that data we utilize in finding out the policies and plans for further future. So this explains the problem of the economic problem or social problem of the economy. So go through that. Thank you.